What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I always like to follow up stories when I get an update. And late on Friday, I'll probably publish this on Saturday, I suppose. There was an update to the Kyle Rittenhouse versus Donald Trump saga. And, you know, he backtracked about as quick as anyone can. I don't know if I love how everyone dogpiled him, but because I'm Team Low Road right now, and I see just how important this upcoming election is, like, I'm kind of glad he changed it soon. Now, maybe he's going to vote differently. There are many people who said he was going to, that he got paid. I suspect there might be a different reason he changed his tune, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get into the story. By the way, this video proudly sponsored by Preserve Gold. Many of you out there are worried about the fate of the US dollar. We are living in uncertain times with inflation, the rise of digital currencies, stock market volatility. I mean, did you see what happened Friday? And recession warnings. Financial analysts are urging Americans to get prepared right now. This is why you should strongly consider gold and silver to help your retirement accounts like IRAs and 401ks. Preserve Gold can explore the right options for you and help you take the first step towards protecting your wealth. Today, they're giving my viewers, that's you, a no-obligation free wealth protection guide that contains 25-plus pages of detailed information. Text the word quartering, that's one word, to 50505. Learn how you can help put physical gold and silver into your IRA or an IRA at 401k, and even purchase precious metals for delivery direct to your home. Preserve Gold has hundreds of five-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions with satisfied clients. Additionally, you can get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with qualified purchases. Again, text quartering, one word, to 50505 or preservegold.com/thequartering to receive your exclusive offer today. Hey, it's the weekend. Fire off that text, get some information. Now, the story started where Kyle Rittenhouse initially, now I don't know if he put this, if he deleted it. Yeah, no. He said, you must stand by your principles. 21 hours ago, he said, hey, I'm writing in Ron Paul. Why is he writing in Ron Paul? It's because he believes Trump does not have a great record in terms of defending the Second Amendment, which I think Trump has very valid criticisms. You know, I think that criticisms on anybody infringing on our Second Amendment rights is extremely valid. I think Trump, for all his pros, I think doesn't have a stellar record on 2A. I think that Trump at times can be open to, public pressure, where he did the stuff with the bumps and, all this kind of stuff. Nonetheless, I think we have to look at the bigger picture, which is what many people were trying to explain to Kyle by saying, Kamala Harris is running on like mandatory buyback programs, disarming American citizens. We don't really have time to play right now. We don't have time to be ideological. We've got to win. Now, this is short-sighted. And I understand the libertarian perspective that, hey, you know what? He has a right to vote third party, and you get a lot worse than Ron Paul, and I agree with that. This is, of course, the constant pull of somebody who's kind of sick of the giant douche is it turd and giant douche? You know what I mean? Two bad choices. Always having to pick, I think, giant douche and huge turd or whatever it is. This is what happens in American politics. I wish we'd have more than two parties. And part of the reason we keep getting forced into this two-party system is because we keep getting presented with two terrible options that we don't even have time to take a breath and think, okay, wait, can we get a third-party candidate in there? Every time one starts to pick up traction, they say something crazy. You have RFK, who is based on Big Pharma, but then, it's fine for like literal full-term terminations. And he's very not good on 2A. But nonetheless, after getting pummeled online for about 8 hours, Kyle Rittenhouse put this out. Over the past 12 hours, I've had a series of productive conversations with members of the Trump team, and I'm confident that he will be a strong ally to owners, that owners need to defend our Second Amendment rights. My comments made last night were ill-informed and unproductive. I'm 100% behind Donald Trump and encourage every to a supporter to join me, helping him sending him back to the White House. Now, look, I don't agree. Like this Joey Manorino guy, this guy like having a total meltdown, saying that he wishes that Kyle Rittenhouse was found guilty because of this is disgusting, pathetic, and I don't want to be associated with it. I know he follows me on Twitter. I don't care. That opinion is trash. You know, I supported Kyle Rittenhouse through the trial because he was innocent, not because of how I thought he would vote in 3 years. That was very embarrassing for a lot of people in the Trump movement and the MAGA movement. Dunking on this guy was weird and cringe. You know, you see Cat Turd 2, who had a complete meltdown about it. Now he's going to block me because anytime anyone says anything negative about it, he's going to block me. But I think if he has to admit that he did have a meltdown, he says, I was harder on you than anyone, but I can't hold a grudge when a man apologizes. Just remember, it was political poison to take your side. Trump and MAGA was there for you during your lowest point. Look, I don't think you have any right to demand somebody's loyalty. You either thought he was innocent or you thought he was guilty. That's like leftist crap. I thought he was innocent. I didn't care who he was going to vote for. And, you know, by the way, you know, when I was supporting him, when I was covering his trial, when I was covering all this, you know, I don't think that just because you supported somebody in the past, they must be forever loyal to you. I do think that maybe this had something to do with it. As you can see, Kyle Rittenhouse losing 45,000 followers in a single day probably had more to do with him changing his tune than weird man babies. Hey, look, I've had my moments. I've had my melties. I absolutely have. I won't begrudge other people from having their meltdowns. But, you know, people to come in and like, you know, you're allowed to vote for whoever you want to. 50-year-old men throwing tantrums on the internet. You don't have to say it. You don't have a say in that. Sorry for the vitriol you received. I like Jamie Mitchell a lot. Met her in IRL. She's great. She's also a DeSantis supporter, as far as I remember. Gerald from Louder the Crowd saying the problem with his original statement wasn't that he had concerns about Trump and 2A. It was that he thought the solution was essentially a vote for Kamala Harris. It was short-sighted. Use your influence to convince politicians your position is correct. Now, I think that is better when you have an audience. I mean, I guess it's a Saturday, so maybe 30, 40, 50,000 people will watch this. If I had any influence on you, which I don't believe that I do, but if I have any, I would hope that I could convince you to register to vote, and I think you should vote. I think you should vote for Donald Trump, but I think you should vote for whoever you want to. I'm not your dad. I'm not your parents. Your vote is your vote, and it's not my job to tell you how to do it. I made fun of the left for doing it when all those stupid leftist YouTubers upload these cringe videos telling their viewers how to vote. I don't like when they do it, so I don't want to do it. I do think that this is the most important election of my lifetime, and the United States is literally on the cusp of disaster. Kamala Harris, socialism, communism, wokeism, economic collapse. I don't need to go down the list because if you watch my content, you know. But what I don't want is people to spend all day spurging on Twitter about, you know, some 21-year-old kid when you could have convinced an uncle to register to vote. Like if you literally look up when the earliest you can vote in person where you live right now. This is what I can tell you. This weekend, look up in your city how early you can vote in person. And then find one other person. Literally send them like a calendar invite. Specifically somebody you think who did not vote in 2020. Bring them to the polls, and that's how winning is done. And once you're in office, then you make change. When you're a content creator, obviously, you all know who I support. But I would never expect you to agree with me and just vote how I say you're going to vote. I like that Kyle did end up supporting Trump, okay, but I don't like that he basically got bullied into it. It's weird. I mean, maybe he's still going to write in Ron Paul anyway. I think there's an argument to be had where I feel like ideologically there is no wasted vote as long as you vote. But then there's practicality that says if you're going to write in a third-party candidate in the most important election in the last 40 years, you're probably wasting your vote. Now, Democrats, I think you should write in a vote. Green Party, I think you should write in your votes. But if you're anywhere on the conservative side, you want to be able to protect yourself. You worry about the border. You worry about the economy. Cast your vote for Donald Trump and then check in with me again in 4 years. You know, I think I can say that very confidently. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please do follow or subscribe. Remember to check out preservegold.com/thequartering to get your exclusive offer today, and we'll talk to you again real soon.